Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria. A reminder of our top stories. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says he still remains with the PDP as the APC makes overtures to him to jump ship. Federal lawmakers from the Northeast appeal to the federal government to address security challenges in the region ahead of the 2015 elections. The military hunts members of the Boko Haram sect after a daring attack on the barrack in Borno State. And Thailand's main opposition Democrat Party threatens to boycott snap elections in the country. All our stories can be found on our website channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Well, after downloading the Channels application, you can then interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. If you have a picture or video to share with us, all you need to do is tap on the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions to share your report, pictures and videos. Agency reports say the military has surrounded a village in the northeast region to flush out sect members who fled there after reportedly snatching soldiers' wives and children during a daring attack on the Bama barracks in Borno State. Bama residents say the Boko Haram gunmen fled to the nearby village of Abaram after the attack, where the military sent hundreds of troops today. Suspected Boko Haram fighters stormed the barracks in the town of Bama yesterday, spraying it with bullets before torching the compound. Meanwhile, in the North Central region, the Special Task Force on Security in Plateau State plans to deploy its personnel to search visitors at recreation centers in the state during the Christmas and New Year festivities. A press statement signed by the media coordinator of the STF, Captain Salisu Mustafa, says the STF would carry out the task jointly with local security operatives. The STF adds that the search is to ensure that firearms are not smuggled into the recreation centers. According to the statement, vehicles are banned from entering the premises of recreation centers during the celebrations. Religious bodies are also being asked to also put security measures in place during the period. We're staying with security matters. The Niger State Police Command has been speaking about the clash between the Nigerian Army and the Air Force on Friday. Well, about 100 soldiers from the 31 Artillery Brigade Mina are reported to have stormed a police division and held the officers hostage for over an hour. The soldiers demanded an explanation from the police as to why one of their men was allegedly manhandled and injured by the police on Thursday. The police public relations officer, Mr. Richard Oguche, who confirmed that there was a clash, says it was a minor one. Mr. Oguche explains to Channels Television in Minna that men of the Nigeria Army and the Air Force came separately to Pakoro and Tudunwara police stations to forcefully release two suspects.
Artillery Brigade, Minna, invaded one of our divisions, and they cordoned everywhere off, attempting to disarm our Amora guards and the station guards. It resulted from a case of a minor motor accident that the police is investigating. A military man drove a vehicle and brushed one civilian's vehicle, and the matter was reported to the police. We went and invited the man, that is the offender, to the police station. Initially, he was not known to be a military personnel until when he was asked to sit behind the counter after molesting the civilian. Because even in the police station, he started beating the civilian that he is a soldier man. And the police said, if you are a soldier man, you can't just come to the police station when you are invited for an issue and begin to beat the complainant. So they asked him to sit behind the counter and he resisted. As a result of that, he started engaging the men on duty, slapped the woman sergeant, and of course course, in the process, he sustained little bruises on the face. And he was treated by the DPO, who took him to the hospital. He was treated in presence of one Captain Disable and one Lieutenant Colonel from the same formation. He was treated, the matter was resolved, and they left. Surprisingly, yesterday morning, the same captain who was there yesterday, Thursday night, when the issue was addressed, led the armed men in about 4 vehicles, and they invaded the police station. A motorcyclist was arrested there yesterday night for violating the restriction of movement of motorcycle in the state. And the guy felt he has an Air Force brother, a brother who is an Air Force personnel. And when he was informed, instead of him coming to the police station to find out what happened, he went and mobilized his friend, about 6 of them, came into the police station, tried to force the men on duty to release the motorcycle. And as a result, they misbehaved. But I think the police did not let them go freely. So 3 of them were arrested and they are with us.
Well, our correspondent actually tried to get reactions from the Nigerian Army and the Air Force on this matter, but they have refused to comment. Well, to other stories now, investigation reveals that about 16,000 people from Bakassi were displaced this year following communal clashes, and the government has been faced with the challenge of resettling them. Well, the Director General of Cross River State's Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Vincent Akwa, said the federal government needs to assist the state in providing a permanent place for these people.
Cross River State, South Nigeria, in 2013 is said to be among the states across the Federation that had its fair share of ugly circumstances that made life unbearable for some of its citizens. The incidences began in March with a communal clash between the people of Adadama community in Abi local government area of the state and its neighboring community Ochueyim in Undiamago of Ebonyi State, following land disputes that led to the death of many. Also in March, the state saw the ejection of thousands of Bakassi returnees by the Cameroonian gendarmes from their ancestral homes, following the court's ruling that Bakassi be taken over by the Cameroons. At a primary school in Ikot Eyo Edem in Akwaboyo local government area of the state, the only former refugee camp recognized by the state government. The condition can best be described as pathetic. The people here appealed for help from all quarters, and they are also seeking urgent resettlement to a place of their choice, Bay Spring Island, to enable them carry out their fishing activities.
Life is so hard. Life is hard. Even when the government are even trying, but upon that, we cannot meet up again in life. We are suffering. Our children are really suffering. I don't even know again.
If our elder people died here, where are we bury them? We need federal government to give us the place of our home.
While the Bakassi indigents seek resettlement, the DG SEMA, Vincent Akwa, said the government has not relented in rendering services to them, but sees the issue as a joint responsibility.
It's an action that every relevant government should take to resettle them. And the people have decided where to want to be resettled, and I believe that government is working towards resettling them.
In May, a windstorm that lasted many hours occurred in 5 communities of Boki local government area of Cross River State, rendering thousands homeless and killing a teenager. 7 months and still counting, ample relief is yet to come the way of the communities. This has led to an outcry from the member representing Boki local government area in the State House of Assembly, Jakes Otuenya, and others displaced.
The devastation was a monumental one. Everything came to a standstill. All the roads were blocked by electricity pole. Almost everything was not working.
Thank God that the students were not here, because it could have affected some of us.
From all we have here, there is no standing block again. You can see things for yourself.
Even though interventions may have come the way of victims by SEMA through relief materials, it seems the relief may not have gone far. With this continuous plea from both the young and old, surely the victims should get a positive response and more relief so that this phase can pass.
Well, the new investors in Nigeria's power sector may not have enough funds to bear the burden of generating and distributing electricity. This is made worse by the problem of pipeline vandalism, which creates a shortfall in gas supply to the power plants. These are some of the concerns raised by the Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nibo. Professor Nibo, who was a guest on our weekend flagship program Sunrise, said a plant like Gerugu has the capacity to generate 450 megawatts of electricity, but it's struggling with an output of 150 megawatts.
The limitation for generation right now is essentially gas supply. You just like a mean. If you give enough gas today, it will generate 200 megawatts more than it is currently generating. The same goes for Olorun Sugar. The same goes for many of the other, look at Gerugu 1, for instance. Gerugu 1 should be generating over 450 megawatts. But because of this gas pipeline vandalization, they are not able to get enough gas to generate up to 150 megawatts. So that is painful, and it's a new power station. So it is not a matter of the turbines not being healthy. But again, one problem is that the government had expected that all these companies, both at the generation and the distribution aspects, had enough funds, that they were not overburdened by a heavy load of debt incurred in the purchase of these facilities. So unfortunately, many of them, and it was not thought ahead of time that it would happen, have borrowed a huge amount of money, making them stressed out financially. So even the little maintenance some of them are supposed to do, they are not really doing. And the expansion is also a problem. The cost of gas in Nigeria, local cost of gas to power, is quite low. It's not competitive. So it is a disincentive to those gas producers. But be that as it may, the greatest problem to gas supply for the available turbines now is vandalism. It's not by design, it's not by default, in design or preparation, but it's vandalism. That is being addressed now. I do think that within the next couple of weeks, we should be able to resolve that with all the repairs going on, and huge repairs, because in the Western Axis, all the blowholes that were found out were dynamite. Nigerians, be a little patient with us. Very soon, there's going to be a significant improvement because the entire value chain is being addressed.
The Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nibo. Well, the federal government is assuring Nigerians that it is taking security at the airport seriously, particularly as it has to do with the tarmacs. The Minister of Aviation, Ms. Stella Odua, says is from the first quarter of next year, passengers will no longer be allowed to step onto the tarmac of the nation's airports. She explains that the measure is necessary for the safety of the passengers and that the ministry will deploy apron buses to carry passengers to and from the tarmac.
We came in, we met a very obsolete infrastructure. Equipments that were no longer working, some no longer in existence. In fact, some, the assembly line have been discarded, and so the spare parts no longer could be obtained. But that's even not it. We were no longer in a position to offer the safety environment that the global aviation policy insists upon, that the passengers require for them to travel safely. Worse still was that the passenger numbers were growing them at double digits. And so we lack the infrastructure for passengers to even travel through. What did we have to do? We had to expand the capacity. I think that's where the cosmetics came on. And really, the terminals we had were no longer befitting. The Kano was last rehabilitated
in the year 1952, when CBN father was in Kano, was still alive, because he remembers vividly when that happened. 52 years ago, who does that? So you can imagine the facilities of the 50s still in existence, and where we have transformed from the 50s till date. Then you look at airports like Lagos, like even Abuja just yesterday. You can imagine the domestic, how it used to be and how it is now. And all those are part of the front end transformation. But the back end is where you have the radars, where you have the track on. Today, we have full radar coverage. It's never been done before.
The Minister of Aviation, Ms. Stella Odua. And when the news at 10 returns, our focus on health gives tips for a healthy festive season, and Nigeria targets a 30% broadband penetration by 2017. That's in business news. Please join us.